Oh, go ahead. you could be you could be
Sorry.
drinking it from that.
Coffee, coffee, coffee.
Yes, I got mine. Hi, Leah.
Hey, Marion, how's it going?
Good. I'm so glad that you came on the show because so many people I feel like can learn from you and learn a lot. And people who maybe we wouldn't even think of who even don't like resellers, resellers who can kind of change things and do more. And then the other people who just think we do nothing.
Right, exactly.
So, so for anyone who's new here, why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do, and how reselling fits into your life right now?
All right. Well, my name is Leah, and I am the owner of Eco Posh for You. So it's nice to meet everybody. I am a reseller. I have been doing this. I started my business officially in 2022, but I started a couple years before that. Um, and I resell clothes, women's clothes mostly, but also some men's and some kids. It just depends on what we find and what we pick up, type of thing, as everybody knows how that works. And then I also sell upcycled items, things like flannel shirts that I have made into completely different garments, but they're still, old garments being made into new garments.
Yeah.
And so I do that. And then I also sell embroidered patches, iron on patches. So it's kind of a mixed bag there. And then sometimes I'll even do different seasonal things. I do a little bit of woodworking and I have these coffins that I make and I
Oh,
do all
cool.
kinds of stuff. I do all kinds of stuff. I like to make things and, but in general, that would describe most of it.
That is so cool because I saw some of those patches. Now, are those like your original designs? Even if they're not, they're beautiful, but are they?
Yes,
They,
yes, I do. I use a software called PE Design 11 to kind of create these, and I just kind of think of ideas. Sometimes people will send me an email and say, "I'd really love to see this type of patch in your
okay.
store. I would really like it if you would, put this in there," and I, can put it in there for them. So
Oh, that's so cool.
they're
So
fun to make.
what is it that originally drew you to reselling? And how has that evolved over this time?
Well, I started it because I had, and I don't know. Hopefully, somebody else is guilty of this. This is almost embarrassing, but I've always enjoyed thrifting, going to pawn shops, and as evidenced by the piles of things, in my house, it was quite evident that I like those types of activities. And I thought, a lot of this stuff I don't use. Maybe I should get rid of it. So I started putting it for sale online, and I thought, oh, okay, I can sell this stuff. I actually sold it, made a couple of extra bucks on it. Hey, this is pretty cool. So I kind of started it because of that, and then obviously for the flexibility and the income, which I think everybody really enjoys, um, and just becoming aware too of the different clothing waste. There's different
Oh,
documentaries that I've seen. um, I believe one of them is called Dead Men's Clothing or something like that, and it's about just these huge landfills filled with fast fashion. Shein or Shine,
oh
however
yeah,
you say that.
yes.
And so, really, like becoming more aware of those things, it just kind of motivated me more to want to continue it. And I realized how valuable of an activity that it was as a business. And so it really went just from a couple things to doing it, part time, is to doing it more full time and incorporating different elements into it. And now here I am.
That's great. We're happy that you're here.
Thank
So we
you.
want to get into sustainability because I do know that's what you're about. And that's what I am slowly learning more about. So I'm really happy that we made this connection. So sustainability means a lot of different things to different people. What does it look like for you in your resale business in real everyday terms for us?
Well, it does mean repairing, an emphasis on repairing things. So if something is repairable, you want to make sure that you take time to do that.
Mhm.
But you want to make sure in a practical way. As we know from listing and taking pictures and things like that, you only have so much time to spend on things, and so you want to make sure that you're doing repair work, but repair work that makes sense for you as far as your set of skills and your time. So that's important. And then obviously buying secondhand whenever you can. I think that's really important for sustainability. I think being thoughtful about what kind of packaging you're using, and trying to use, if you order from Amazon, trying to use those Amazon boxes, before you use new packaging. Just little practices like that are so important. Reworking flaws instead of just discarding the garments. That's always good. Like missing buttons, that's usually something that most people can manage and that doesn't take a lot of time.
Definitely.
And really just yeah, I guess just those type of things, small actions.
Yeah. Yeah, you can make big changes. I have a bunch over there. I'm looking over there, but I save all of my packing and my boxes. But the new packing, I love that comes in some things. Oh, I just had it. And it's just like shredded all together, but it's like shredded kind of paper. And
Mhm.
that makes such a difference. And everything that I've been getting has been fine. Getting isn't broken or anything. It's been fine. So I
Mhm.
like that because we do get a lot in plastic, and I'm guilty of it because I'll reuse that plastic when it comes. But at least it's going around, you know.
Right, and that's the important thing is that, like we can't always stop, and sometimes, the bubble wrap is a pretty good packaging, but as long as you're reusing it and, not throwing it away,
Mm,
keeping it in circulation, which is what the circular fashion model that we're all a part of is about, is putting things to use again, whether that's packaging, or the garments that we're selling.
right. I agree with all of that. So when did sustainability become something you were consciously building into your business rather than just a side effect of reselling? Did I just,
Well, um, I definitely had the intent of sustainability when I started, which is where the name Eco Posh for You comes from.
I love that.
Um, I wanted to incorporate it into what I was doing. I don't feel like I knew exactly where I was going with it when I started, but I knew that I wanted to incorporate it somehow. And it's been kind of something that's developed over time.
Mm,
Um, and really, like, I kind of stopped avoiding flawed items in the bins. That's something that where it became more intentional. I started picking up things that I would have discarded before, as
okay.
long as, like I said, it makes sense. The repairs are within your skill set and your time. I started picking those things up. So it definitely got more intentional that way. And then I also started building solutions, like the embroidery patches and
Yes.
upcycling garments. Like for example, my flannel shirts, I will
I
kind of use
saw.
bleach to dip those, and really easy. Anybody can make these at home.
And I loved those two totally different colors. And I saw the little patch on the back that you make. Beautiful.
Thank you. Thank you.
You're
Yeah. And they're
welcome.
fun because each one is a different, it's kind of like a different art piece of its own. It's a different,
Right.
statement. And so I've had a lot of fun making those. Those are a lot of fun for me to make. So I feel like that's a really good solution, to take a garment that was discarded and headed for the landfill and to completely change it and make it a new beautiful garment, and add all these embellishments and things to it. I don't know. It's kind of a cool thing.
It
So I
is.
feel like that's definitely more intentional. So I've been trying to be even more intentional with things that I do lately. I want to really just keep leaning heavily into that as much as I can.
That's great because, like I said, I literally last year stopped buying things that had flaws. because
Hmm.
I'm going to just be me right now. So you're getting me to change my mind a little bit if I could fix it or do, but I have only once or twice I bought things that needed one or two buttons, and I had fun picking out totally different buttons, and it sold, and it sold
Hmm.
because it was different,
Right.
just a little. Even yours are totally different.
Yeah, but
So
that's really cool too because you're still putting your own spin on it and you're doing something different with it. And that was definitely something. Missing buttons is definitely headed for a landfill. Like
oh
this day
yeah.
and age, nobody wants to really mess with that. But like I said, maybe when you're sitting down and watching TV or watching a movie or whatever you're doing, you're on the phone and talking to somebody, and I always need some busy work or something to do all the
Oh
time.
yeah.
And so
Me too.
just little things like that. But I love that changing the buttons out. Like that's so cool.
Yeah, and it was so nice afterwards. I was like, oh, this is nice. I wish it was my size.
Right? It's fun and it makes it like you're putting your own personal touch on it.
Well,
So
yeah, and when I looked at that particular shirt that you were talking about, I said, oh, I like that. And you know what? It's not even me, but I like it. And it's something that if I saw, I'd be like, oh, I want to buy that. So
yeah.
very nice. You made it so that it's kind of unisex, and which is a good thing. And I feel just as good at it in it as some guy would.
Right? Yeah, no, it's all about what's comfortable to you, especially as I've gotten older. That's
Oh
been
yeah.
a big deal.
And you're
So,
still young.
oh no, gosh,
So
I wish.
you are.
I feel it, but man, but
I
yeah, no, and it's so cool to personalize things like that, like just
yeah,
really because when you're personalizing something, that makes it even more, you're putting even more of a value on it.
definitely, definitely.
Mhm.
I know one of the girls when I had a thrift shop, she used to come in and she used to make denim jackets, but
Ooh.
literally take out the whole back. I'm sure you've seen, others,
Oh.
and either put like a band's name or whatever. It just was gorgeous.
Mhm.
I think that my friend bought one that had a dragonfly on it that I
Oh,
loved, but it was her size.
so
And
pretty.
it was, she paid like $85 for it because it was
Mhm.
just beautiful. No one will have that anywhere,
Mhm.
you know?
Yep. You know for sure you're never going to go somewhere and see somebody else wearing it.
That's for sure.
That's certain. So,
So what do you think are some of the small, meaningful ways that resellers, like you just said, the buttons and repairs, anything else that you can help resellers so that they can have the same experience as you have and are that as you are having now? Sorry.
well, maybe just kind of reframe the way that you're thinking about it as far as looking at flaws as opportunities. There are a lot of good pieces that, just take a little bit, like I said, the buttons, or maybe sewing something that's on the seam. I don't know if I would necessarily take a garment that's ripped somewhere weird and try to sew it. That's where a patch might come into play if it were appropriate
Yeah.
there. But if it's a small rip on the seam and it's a nice dress that I know is gonna, bake a couple bucks, I think it's worth the time to just, do small repairs like that. So, but just changing the mindset a little bit as to looking at these things as opportunities and not problems. I've mentioned the buttons, obviously, the patches for different holes, different things like that. Or maybe just sometimes you want to give it a different look. Maybe you're tired of it, or maybe, you just think, I've got like 6 pairs of jeans. It'd be cool if one of them was a little different, or had something on it, or these are getting worn out, whatever it is. So just doing little things like that. Also, people can resellers can bundle. That's something that you don't have to have any resell any repair skills to do. You can just
Hmm.
bundle it. So maybe slower items that aren't selling, you can bundle those.
Oh,
So that's a good way because a lot of people will just kind of get rid of those.
Yes.
But maybe you can bundle them all together and give somebody a great deal on them. Since you were going to get rid of them anyway, you may as well, put them all together.
Right, right.
And just really starting slow, like maybe learning, one small repair skill, whatever that is, or challenging yourself to, you see a garment and you think, oh, well, this is something I haven't done before as far as repair work. Let me just try it, because what is it really going to hurt? You probably only
Yeah.
paid like $1 for it at the bins or wherever you get it for. So
That is so true. Well, those are all things that I think we can all do, whether it's slowly or quickly, even if everybody who watches this does one thing, different, it will start changing the world again back to where, well, it will never get there, but back to, better, back to better.
I definitely believe that. I do. I think, and I think resellers really do a great job of that. I mean, just even by reselling the clothes, even not even repairing or doing anything, you're already doing so much. You think about how many things you've sold. How many pounds? If you really add that up, that's like how many pounds that you sold to the landfill, and that's all of us doing that. So
yes, and I was just I started looking into this years ago, but decided not to do it. I am getting rid of a lot of my inventory, clothes mostly. And so I started looking in them paying by the pound for clothing. And, you have to have a certain amount. I do, because I had a thrift store also. And it's time for these things to go, but I don't want them to just go. I usually give them to the church thrift store. So that's how I do my little part right now. But I'm guilty, just like everybody else. So just one little thing, guys. If you could just change that one little thing, maybe you sew and you never thought, well, I'll buy this and sew it, or just we could help. So let's do it. All right. So let's talk a little bit about these embroidered patches. Do you have any way that you can show something? I mean, we'll lead them to your sites, and maybe you want to send me a couple of pictures, but I would love for them to see if they could. And if not, that's fine too, because they're so cute.
So I do have these patches right now that are probably the top selling. So I sell these on eBay currently. I'm pretty much listed. I'm listed on every marketplace, like most of us are. But I pretty much sell these on eBay. I do sell on Poshmark. I do have a patch store on Poshmark. It doesn't really sell that much. It's mostly just there. I have 2 closets. One of them is my patch store, and one of them's like for everything else. Because it got too cluttered trying to do all that. It didn't make sense. So I do have them listed there, but this is what they look like. So the Wicked patches, Wicked is what I'm selling the most of right now.
Love it. Oh yeah.
So I've got these, and I designed them myself.
That is so cool.
Print them out. And I have so many different ones, and I'm still designing different ones every day. And then the biggest seller right now in my store is from the Fallout video game and TV series.
Oh, okay. Oh, yes, I've seen that. I didn't know what it was, but yes, I've seen that.
It's like a real big TV show going on right now, and it's also a video game, which I've played all the video games, so I'm familiar with all of these guys. But yeah, so they're just really neat and different. I have so many different things. And like I said, I also take requests. A lot of times people will send me a message and just say, and I don't charge for the design services to do that. Somebody can just send me a picture and I'll let them know if that's something I can do or not. And if it is, I'll make it and I'll put it up for sale in my shop.
That's fantastic. Well, I saw like you have a college, I think it was. So even if they sent, the college logo, whatever. Yeah, that's good. Now, how and what made you come up with this idea?
Well,
the patches.
It started from really upcycling the flannels, because I started upcycling the flannels with the bleach and everything. And then I would go buy patches at like Michael's, Walmart, places like that. And they really didn't have a lot of variety in the patches. Like it was all just like butterflies, and it was literally the same patches in every store: llamas, a butterfly, a flower. And I just thought, like there's only so much I can do with this, I mean, and if you get online and buy them, the cost goes the cost goes up as far as what you're going to charge. And I try to keep them really reasonably priced, because I enjoy them so much. People always make fun of me for wearing flannels because I wear them so much. It's like, oh, you got your lumberjack outfit on, it's like, gosh, you guys don't know how comfortable these are, because I'm always wearing these dang flannels. So people give me a hard time sometimes. I'm just like, they're so comfortable. But so I try to keep them reasonably priced because I love them so much. I grew up kind of in the grunge era, so flannels were real big during that time. And so, I've always loved them, and so they just it developed naturally into there. I couldn't find anything that I really liked on as far as patches for these flannels. They were all the same. It was the same, handful of patches in every store. So I just started designing my own. And then I realized I could sell them on their own as well. And so it just kind of went from there.
That's so cool. It really, really is. And how do you use them in your business? I know it's patches, like you said, on pants, but do you put them on other things too? Do you put them on other pieces of clothing, the shirt?
I do. I can put them on shirts. You can put them on bags. You can put them on really anything that you can iron on. You can put them on hats, like ball caps. You can really put them on anything, but they're really good for repairs, for sure.
Yes.
Repairs are really good, and also just really personalizing a garment. Like maybe it's a gift. A lot of times people really like it when you give them something that's really personal to them.
Yes.
And it's also a different way to, it's a fun way to show different things you like, showcase different things you like. Like maybe you're a video game nerd like me, and you want to, put Fallout Pat. You want everybody to know that you're a nerd. I don't know. There's a lot of reasons why that they're useful, but they definitely extend garment life. They rescue flawed inventory. It's a product and a repair tool. So, and it also makes things stand out. It differentiates your listings from different listings. It's not just a regular flannel, it's a fun flannel.
Yes, that's true. And I have to just ask this, is everything in your closet something that you created? Wow. No. Okay. I was going to say.
No, definitely not.
So you have a mix. That's good. Well, yes, because some are repaired, and I'm sure, do you buy things that don't need repair too?
Yes, definitely do. Definitely do. Because you have to, like I was saying earlier, it's so important to make sure, because we're all doing this to make money. And so you don't want to get so lost in the sauce of repairing things that you spend 6 hours on something, to fix it, that you're going to sell for $30, or whatever it is. Like you really want to make sure that you're making effective use of your time. And you're choosing projects that are, good for your time and for your, like I said, your skill set. So you want it to make sense, because this is a business. So you need to keep you need to try to balance those things.
And so for anyone who's listening to this and is feeling, a little hesitant or scared when they hear repair, what would you tell them? I mean, you just told them most of it. Is there anything else?
Well, I feel like it's really not so far of a leap from what you're doing already, because you're already washing some of these clothes. You're already steaming some of these clothes. I I learned a long time ago you needed to get a steamer and not
Yeah.
post up with your wrinkly clothes. It's a waste of time. So, you're already doing these things anyway. So it's really not that much of a stretch. So it's just putting another tool in your toolkit, so to speak.
Oh, that's a really good way to look at it. So can creative repair really be profitable, and what mindset shift do resellers need to see that?
It is profitable as long as you're making it time effective. But repair also does add value to an item, which is profitable.
Yes.
And you're putting your time into it, which is also somewhat of an investment. And uniqueness does sell. Uniqueness, people like uniqueness. So that's definitely something that buyers are looking for. And so just really, like I said, you just need to make sure that you have it within to where you're making it profitable. You're not spending, 10 hours doing one thing. So repairing one thing.
Gotcha. So what are some daily habits, weekly habits that it took a while to learn that you can share that you think made the biggest difference, if anything?
Well, really consistent listing, I found has made a really big difference. I try to list every day. I don't always succeed, but as long as I set that as a goal, I can at least get a lot of the days done, which is what I'm kind of shooting for. I don't expect it every day, especially if I'm sourcing or if I'm working on patches or, and obviously we all have real life too, which we're trying to balance, which is really hard for people like us because we don't clock out.
No. And my husband will say, even on yesterday and the day before, I enjoy it. Like, I enjoy what I do, so I don't feel like I'm working. And I'm my own boss. And sometimes I'm a bitch, and sometimes I'm nice. But
Right.
I feel like so many resellers, even people that I interviewed years ago, we all kind of have that mindset. It's crazy, but I can't complain about it because I like it. Is that how you feel? Yeah. If you like
Because what's
making
so
it.
nice about it too is that for a lot of us, this is a hobby and something that we truly enjoy doing.
Yes.
I have an artistic personality, and so I can incorporate some of my art. I used to sell paintings on the Poshmark show. I used to do live paintings and sell those. I mean, there's so many ways I've been able to incorporate my art into selling on these platforms, and I'm really grateful for that. That's been really nice. So
That is great.
mm-hmm.
So everybody's always saying you need a system, right? And I have like a few systems in place that make me do everything that I should every day. Is there anything that you could share that you did that helped you grow or you think helped you grow?
I mean, really just like staying active daily on the platforms, connecting with other people in the reseller community. I found the reseller community to be very kind and helpful. I mean, you run across people every once in a while that, maybe you don't care for, but in general, I find that the community is really nice, really helpful. People are very encouraging of each other.
Yeah.
And so tapping into that community, I think, is really important so that you can share information. I think that's a good habit to have. And then just really just having the mindset of learning as you go, and not thinking that you know everything, and really incorporating that into your business too, because it's usually an evolving thing.
Yes,
As we
I
go along.
agree. And most of us, I feel, love learning about what we're interested in, because I'll have YouTube videos on in the background all day while I'm working. So, yeah. So are there any tools that you brought into your business that you're using now, whether it's for patches or whether it's for whatever it is that you think are helping you?
Okay. Well, so I have been leaning on automation tools a lot lately. And some of the tools that have helped me a lot, I use Google Lens. I'm sure a lot of people use
Oh,
Google
yeah.
Lens. It's a huge time saver. It really helps to see different things really quickly, especially if you're out and about sourcing, that type of thing. So I found that to be extremely helpful and take some of the stress off. And because it's just so instant, you can really do your research before you leave the store, which is something I didn't do when I first started. I would just say, oh, this is cute. Look at this. This looks fun.
This
I
will
like this
sell.
color. Yeah. You
Yeah,
can't
no,
do that. And
no.
you have to learn that. And so that's a tool that really does help me a lot. Another tool that helps me a lot of us use cross listers, things like that.
Mhm.
I use Posh Sidekick. That's extremely
Okay.
helpful.
Yes.
There is a plugin in that. There's a tool within the Posh Sidekick called Reseller GPT. And as a big fan of Chat GPT, which is also something I was going to talk about, the 3 tools that I use, but
Okay.
it's a Reseller GPT is a GPT within Chat GPT. And so you can literally take the pictures that you just take pictures, you send them to the Reseller GPT, and then the Reseller GPT spits out the title and the description and everything you need, recommends the pricing, which obviously you double check with Google Lens. And you look
Yes.
through because it's AI and make sure it doesn't say anything weird, and make sure it says what you want it to say about the garment, and make sure it's not offensive or weird in any way, and usually I don't have a problem with it, and then it just publishes straight to Poshmark and eBay. So you just hit enter and it posts it for you. So literally there's no typing involved in that process. And so for people that are trying to do volume, and that really need something reliable, that's a really good one. And so that's probably one of the biggest one. And then they also have a background remover and all that, because I like to remove the backgrounds from my photos. So I know everybody has different feelings about that, but for me
I like
personally, I
I
like to take
remove
the
them
background
too.
out.
Yeah,
And so I use that. And then I also use Chat GPT. Chat GPT is really useful for me, as far as it helps me with my business day to day. It helps me with my spreadsheets that I keep up with as far as my inventory, my expenses, and just helping me organize my thoughts sometimes, what I need to do daily. So I love Chat GPT. It's pretty useful too. So I would say those are probably my top 3.
well, Poshmark Sidekick is one of mine too, and so is Chat GPT just
Yeah.
recently. But yeah, there are a lot of things that I could have it look at, like instead of having an editor for certain things that I do, I'll run it through there, then run it through somewhere else.
Mhm.
And, it'll at least come out better than I would say it with, my little Bronx slang. It comes out more professional. So that's why I'm reading my questions, because otherwise, yes, forget it. So if
It's a big
someone
help.
listening feels like their impact is too small, what would you tell them? What would you want them to know?
Well, if you're feeling like your impact is too small, just remember sustainability isn't like an all or nothing thing. It's a bunch of little things. So that I wish people knew that. It doesn't have to be so intimidating. Small actions matter, like we've talked about. All these things that we do, just I mean, even as a collective. I mean, how many tons of clothing, even without the repair or doing any of that, how many tons have we saved from landfills and all of that? A lot. So that, I mean, just what people are doing already is helpful. And I wish that they understood how helpful it really truly was. And the repairs don't have to be complicated. They can be small repairs. You don't need a perfect brand, and just being part of the reseller community multiplies the impact of all these actions. So we're doing it as a collective.
It's true. It really is. And I see it more and more the more I learn about it, because I watched a couple of those documentaries too. And
Man,
when you
yeah.
hear about it, it's different than when you see it. I mean, I was like, oh my God, So I hear you with that.
Hmm.
So, what excites you most about where your business is headed? And is it heading in any other direction, or are you staying where you are? I'm sorry, I added that.
Let's see. Well, I am excited about expanding on the creative repair. So
Oh,
I
good.
do want to maybe incorporate doing some like more like trendy repair kits
Oh,
to encourage people to repair their own things. Because a lot of these repair things, like especially if you're buying the adhesive to fix maybe holes in jeans or things like that, it's usually expensive because you have to buy like a bigger package of it. So maybe putting together some repair kits.
mm,
I want to grow my patch line, add new designs. That way everybody feels like there's something for them when they
yes.
look through it. I think that's important.
Okay.
And just kind of encouraging the repair mindset and talking to other sellers about that and finding out ways that they're incorporating that into what they do, and supporting other resellers that are doing that. I think that that's important. And just really, I don't know, just continuing to see where else I can find places to be helpful in the area of sustainability.
That's
So
great. That's really great. I appreciate what you do after, reading everything. I'm like, wow. And you you made me feel better about myself because I'm always like I'm not doing enough, but at least I'm doing something now. I didn't feel that before. So thank you for that.
yeah, it's huge. Like people just don't know. I don't think we realize, and especially because, we do get a lot of negative comments like, I can't believe you took this away from a needy person.
Mm-hmm.
This is terrible. And it's like, like the amount of money that we put into these different things, like the money that we spend at these stores
Mm-hmm.
is helpful because a lot of these places are charities that we, thrift from or source from, like Goodwill and different places like that. So we're helping that economy directly that way, obviously. But we're also saving garments from the landfill. We're giving them a second life, sometimes
Okay.
a third or fourth life. You
Yes.
can always
Yeah.
reposh something. You never know how many times something has been, you know,
Yeah, it's
moved
true.
around. So we really do a lot just by recirculating these clothes. And the thing is, a lot of people are looking for these items.
Yes.
Maybe there's something that they don't carry anymore, and you're like, man, that was the best pair of jeans I ever had. I can't find
Yes.
another one like it, but you can always find them on these resale stores. And I've been collecting some of the clothes I wore in high school. I wore a lot of like Gap in high school. And so
Yes.
I've been collecting, some of the clothes that I wore in high school, like the dresses and the skirts, some of the
Okay.
90s
Yeah.
clothes. I've been kind of finding those again,
Oh, how cool.
just for fun, just to have them in my closet. So there's a lot
Well,
of value in documenting these garments. And not only that, there's also we put the measurements on these garments so people can tell if something fits them or not, as opposed to a generic size chart that they're
gotcha.
going to see on a a manufacturer's website of these garments. Like we actually know the actual sizes, so you'll
Yes.
know if it fits you or not. So there's so
That's
many things that we do that are so valuable, I think.
Yes, it definitely sounds like that to me, I tell you. So we're going to call it a day, but please share any information that you'd like. How can people give them all the websites, everything, and then send them to me so that I can put them down on the bottom?
Definitely. Well, I'm on pretty much every social media and marketplace as EcoPosh for you, and it's spelled with the number 4. So you can find me. I'm on eBay. I'm on Poshmark, Mercari, Depop, Grailed, Vinted, Curtsy, all the places, and then
Well,
Facebook. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. So I guess I'm everywhere. So
Well, good. That's
yeah, so
good.
I'm easy to find, and I'm always encourage people to, connect, network. I'm happy to
Yeah.
share your stuff. You share my stuff. I'm happy to look at what your tips and tricks are because I feel like I can always learn something. So
Yes.
happy to connect with anybody out there that wants to.
Great. Well, thank you so much. I appreciate it. I appreciate what you're doing and helping to enlighten other people on the subject, because some people just, if they don't see it, if they don't study it, they just don't realize it. So thank you again.
Thanks, Marion. Thanks for having me.
Have a good night.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye. And